Local Matters brings you incredible stories about Indiana original businesses making a positive impact in Indiana and the entrepreneurs leading the way. I'm Mel McMahon, and today we'll get the story of how Jason Acquisto started working as the marketing manager for McFarling Foods. We'll talk about the challenges and the successes he's had along the way and why supporting local businesses really matters.
You're listening to Local Matters, brought to you by Indiana Originals, leading local living.
I'm going back to Indiana.
Jason Acquisto, marketing manager, McFarling Foods. Thank you so much for being our guest today on Local Matters.
Hey, Mel, I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's great to see you. I feel like I see McFarling Foods kind of everywhere now, which is a good thing. Right.
Oh, that's such
I feel
a
like
good
you've
thing.
been hiding in the shadows for decades.
I love to hear that. And we feel like we're getting out there. We feel like we're doing things that we hadn't done before. And it's so good to get that feedback. We've been in business since 1948, so 72 years in business. And like you said, in the shadows, I mean, it's just been kind of under the radar, but we've come out with a new brand, with a new mentality and a new vitality, we believe. And there's just a lot that's happening that's positive. And now's a great time to be McFarling Foods.
For our listeners that aren't familiar with your company, tell us, what is McFarling Foods and how did it get started?
McFarling Foods is a local food distributor. That means we buy from wholesale companies, big amounts of food, and then we sell that to our restaurant partners, I call them, our customers, our clients. They're restaurants around Indianapolis, around central Indiana. So the difference between us and our competitors is that we are local. We are the local version of the national companies who do the same thing. We just do it local. We only sell to restaurant partners and customers that are local and independent. Okay, that's our thing. We're local. This is where we live and work and raise our families, and that's who our customers are. We don't sell to Applebee's, God bless them. We don't sell to, Burger King over there, whoever, those national restaurants, that's different. We sell to mom and pop, individual, local owner operators who put their blood, sweat, and tears into their business, because that's kind of who we are too. So we started in 1948 as a meat company, most specifically as a chicken processing plant. And back then it was a different business. And we kind of, evolved through the decades. And now we're a broadline distributor. We carry all kinds of foods for restaurants.
So without even knowing it, someone listening to this podcast has probably eaten the food you've delivered.
There's no question, Mel. If you've eaten at an independent restaurant in the Indianapolis area anytime in the last 7 decades, you've had some food that was brought to you by McFarling Foods.
So personal favor to ask you, the really deep red French dressing. Can't find it in a grocery store, but those independent restaurants I go to have it. Could you get me the hookup on that one?
I can get you the hookup. We'll talk later. Yeah, and that's a great point, though, because that's the kind of service that we deliver. We are there for those kinds of requests. When people talk about that one thing they can only get at, we have a popular item that's our chicken, like our fried chicken seasoning and coating that a lot of our customers use for different chicken dishes, and it's special. Once you taste that, it's something that people come back for, and they don't know it's brought to the restaurant by McFarling Foods. That's fine. We're behind the scenes. They know that this restaurant has it, and that's why they go there. That makes it special.
When your restaurant's successful, you're successful.
Exactly. So it's all part of the same equation. We want, and that's why you see us out there kind of deflecting the spotlight onto our customers, because we want people to know who we are for sure. But we're a business to business. So we really care more about consumers going into our restaurants to eat there, to our restaurant customers, partners, because that means they will in turn, ideally buy more from us. But yeah, listeners to the podcast can go eat at restaurants that we supply food to. And that's the connection. That's the connection.
Well, and two, I know your team is helping restaurateurs, come up with some of their signature dishes or come up with their recipes or find that flavor profile, right?
Yeah, that's the thing too, is that all of our salespeople have been owner operators. They've lived the life. They've gone through that process, and they've been in the kitchen trying to figure out how to, like you said, make a flavor profile, how to build menus. It is one of the hardest things in the world to get the menu right. And if you've watched these cooking shows on TV with these different, it's hard. So our people can help them build the menu, and to also build it with a cost-conscious approach to where they can spend the money in the right ways. And, for example, right now we have, it's not really a promotion, it's just a strategy that we have, that we're taking, each one of our salespeople is taking a list of 3 things to their customers and saying, like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Restaurant owner, here's an idea. Why don't you buy these 3 things and offer these 3 as a plate, as like a special? Maybe it's an entree and 2 sides. Maybe it's let's say it is roasted chicken and mashed potatoes and fresh green beans. And now each of those, here's the food cost for each of these, and here's what you can sell it for. Okay. And that's a bundle. They can offer it to them and say, we can bundle this for you in this price, sell it for this. There's your tidy profit. And, it's just another way for them to help think about how to make more money for their restaurant. They don't have to buy that bundle. They can customize the bundle, but we're there to help. We're not there to, quote unquote, make money off of them. I mean, we're here to help them make money. We'll make money. We'll get ours. No problem. But let's help you, especially as we all know, this past year, it's been so important to support local community restaurants and local business, as you know better than anyone. And that's why we're here. That's why we're part of your podcast of Indiana Originals, because we believe that. We've lived it. We've been the beneficiary of people supporting local, and we want to give back and do the same thing.
Well, I love how much McFarling Foods and Indiana Originals missions, they're very similar. We're the same too. When our members are successful, we're successful. Our job is to get our members in front of new customers, right? Keep them top of mind in front of those consumers. And, really that's kind of the marketing promotions mind behind everything else that we do. And, I'll tell you, Jason, I never saw myself in this position, when I was little. If somebody said, what do you want to be when you grew up? I don't know that business owner ever would have been my answer. But what did you want to be when you grew up? Was it, marketing director for a food company?
No, in fact, I was going to be a professional athlete. I was going to be a Major League Baseball player. And if that didn't work out, I always could play NBA basketball, maybe even both.
There you go.
Who knows? And I'm not giving up on those dreams.
Keep going for them.
I still love those notions and want to keep that kind of love of sports alive, and all that's fun. And at the same time, there are reasons we want to do things when we grow up. They sound fun. And then what we end up doing, we do because it really is fun. What became fun to me, and I know you can relate, is helping people, is to actually see something come together, see a plan come together, help people get to where they need to go, help people figure things out, be part of solutions. It doesn't mean that we have all the answers. It just means we're in there, sleeves rolled up, helping people get some things done. And doesn't mean we don't make mistakes. Obviously we do. But these things as adults, I think most would agree, these are the kind of things that are fun now, Yeah,
well, that sense of joy and fulfillment's there, right?
It's
not just,
sure.
It's not the little things you've done along the way. I started a babysitter's club. I was a hostess at a restaurant. I was a server for a long time, server's assistant. I was a lifeguard, like all kinds of different things led me up to this way. What are some of the things you've done along the way?
Well, what's funny is that I worked in restaurants, in college, and I was a server in restaurants, and did a lot of that. And that is the best job that anyone can do, to be in any position where you interact with the public, customer service, that kind of thing. Man, you want to learn how to be a good salesperson, go wait on tables at a nice restaurant, and you'll understand that that's really what it's all about, dealing with people. And it's not, the customer's not always right. Newsflash, sometimes they're wrong. And that's the challenge, is that you've got to, what do you do at those times?
Overcome that. Yes, exactly.
Overcome it. So, yeah. So as a server, I use a lot of that now, circling way back to, 20 years ago, whatever. Sure. I use that knowledge from then. And also, as a graduate straight out of college, what I did was go into radio, and I started writing commercials for a living. And then I became a radio announcer, on-air person, and then went into to radio sales, and eventually into marketing, working in ad agencies. So all of this, it's funny how I use different things from that background in different ways now. I never thought I'd work in the food industry, but is it really that different? It really isn't, because you work with people. You work with people to help them get where they want to be.
And that's definitely really, your motivation, right?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Coming up, the challenges and successes McFarling Foods has had along the way, and what Jason wants you to know about being a part of running a business. This is Local Matters.
Hi, I'm Lance.
And I'm Mel.
In the spring of 2012, we were walking around downtown Indianapolis. We were looking for someplace local for dinner. We threw out a restaurant name, and Mel asked,
"Is it local?"
That simple question became a much bigger conversation, and our company, Indiana Originals, was born.
Every Indiana Originals member is certified local. That means the business is an Indiana-owned and operated company, headquartered here and not part of an out-of-state chain. When you discover and support a business on our website or on our app, you are keeping more money in Indiana, helping our communities be unique, and creating jobs.
If you spent 5% more on goods and services from Indiana, we would have $1.8 billion more for our schools and infrastructure. So when you break it down, that's just $35 per household per week. When you see the Indiana Originals badge, you know you are supporting local Indiana businesses.
Download our app powered by B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains, and get your business certified local at IndianaOriginals.com. Indiana Originals, leading local living.
Hello, listeners of Local Matters.